Well, we're back, right?
Yes,
Yeah. So last time we left off, we were talking about high school. Oh, and by the way, did you have a nice break?
yes, did.
You did. You went off and had something to drink, and you ate and all that.
Very funny
Very
that
fun, and we just kind of hung out, didn't we? Oh, what's today?
World Down Syndrome Day.
So it's March, as in the third month of the year, and 21 as in the chromosomes. So that additional chromosome. So pretty neat, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. You said you already posted some videos on YouTube, huh?
I posted something to Facebook.
To Facebook. Okay. All right. So, well, I thought what we would do here for our second part is talk a little bit about high school and how high school and some things that allowed you to be further included in high school. So we thought you said let's talk about journalism, right?
Yes, Daddy.
All right. So tell us a little bit about the journalism class.
So the journalism class is about the reward.
Yeah. What's the award-winning school newspaper called?
It's called the budget, and I got the chance to work on it.
All right. And so, well, here I think we have a picture of the award-winning. Yeah, they won a state award and some sort of national award, right?
Yes.
And so the budget, it's paper, as they're showing. And what types of things appear in the budget?
Like things that's going on around the school, as well as things in the community as well.
So are they interviews?
The interviews and some some people take photos in there as well.
And they're stories too, right?
The stories too as well.
Okay, but it's all written.
Yeah.
It's all kind of print. Now, that didn't help you, did it? Because you're not the
No.
stronger writer.
No.
So what did you do instead? You proposed instead of doing writing, you decided to
Do a video interview.
a video interview, okay? But you've been doing that for a little while, hadn't you?
Yes.
And that was called
That was called Strolling with Nolan.
Of course. Now, why do I have this picture of the baseball coach there?
Because Nolan first got started with him.
And so we have Coach, who do we have there?
Coach Brad Stoll
And he's the one hugging you there. Yep.
and Coach Johnson
Okay.
and Coach Green.
All right. But Coach Stoll, he's also what? What type of teacher is he in schools?
He is a adaptive PE teacher.
And so he used to find you in the hallways and you would go strolling, wouldn't you?
Yes.
And you would just talk and he would record.
Yes.
And then he'd put it up on what?
Twitter.
Twitter. So not only did he put it up on Twitter, but Coach Stoll would say, people would then say, hey, put more up, right?
Yeah.
So here's a simple one. This was actually when you were in high school. So let's watch. This is real simple, real small.
Lion baseball fans, look who we got.
Strolling with Nolan.
Nolan, how we doing today, baby?
I'm so rad.
You're being silly, aren't you? Okay. All right. So you got to high school. You get into this journalism class. They say, sorry, Nolan, you can't really participate because you need to be able to be a good writer or a photographer, and you weren't either. But then we said, why don't you do a video series, just like you've been doing, called Strolling with Nolan? And did you just get a video camera and start videotaping it, or did you write out the script, practice it, work with Miss Summers, the speech and language pathologist, and practice it?
I got to write out the scripts myself and the questions. Of course, took a lot of thinking.
Yep, and you had to organize it, didn't you?
Yes.
And so there's some tools down below there. People could organize things in like a comic book. They could organize things. They could do it in an outline, the traditional. They could do it in a sketch, like a storyboard.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of different ways you could organize it, right?
And also the phone app.
Oh, and then you used a phone app to organize it as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Miss Summers, she's your speech and language pathologist. What would she do with you to get ready for this?
She's the speech path at Lawrence High, and she would help me with the speech part of things, and she would mark all the S sounds in my script, and she would have me say the word again with a much clearer S in it.
Right. So she'd work on S's and Z's. That was something you were working on.
Yeah.
Well, good. All right. So do you want to go ahead and this is your very first one, right?
Yes.
Now you did not only this, but you also interviewed other paraeducators.
Mm-hmm.
Who else did you interview?
I interviewed the homecoming court royalty,
Okay. Who else did you interview?
as well as the winter court.
The winter court. Did you interview the band director, Mr. Jones of Stuco?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then they had a chance to watch the interview with Roxy and Mrs. Loxman.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? So she was a social studies teacher, right?
No, she was a world languages teacher.
She was a world language teacher. That's right. Okay. And also she was in charge of Stuco as well.
Yes.
Okay. And so this is the first one. So some of you may have selected this. We're not going to watch the whole one, but we thought we'd introduce it to see the kind of the beginning of how it all came together.
Hi, this is your reporter, Nolan Smith. I'm here today with a new broadcast series called Schooling Rules Nolan. On the show, I'm going to talk with people all over LHS about a variety of topics, asking them questions while we take a walk together. Today, we'll be speaking with LHS paraeducators about their experiences working with students. Now, it's time to stay tuned to Mr. Rolling with Nolan.
So what's that all about that with the head and the hair and all that, huh?
I'm trying to be like my favorite singer,
Oh, who's your favorite singer?
Bieber.
Justin Bieber. Okay, so you're trying to do a little of that. So you made several of these, okay? And the speeches sounded pretty good. You practiced a lot, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And so did these become somewhat popular?
Yeah.
People started watching them and okay, and so yeah.
This video actually, I checked the views on it,
Uh-huh.
and
Have you had a few?
it got about a good, decent number.
Good. All right. Well, good. All right. Well, maybe we'll get more now that we're letting people know about it. All right. Now, your senior year, this success and inclusion, from my perspective, did a lot of people get to know you?
Yes.
A lot of people got to know you. And it was because you were in their classes with them, right?
Yes.
And you mentioned IPS. Tell us about IPS.
IPS is a inclusionary program
Okay.
for people with disabilities and typical developing, and they got to be mentors.
And so, but it was a class, right?
There's a class about the mentorship and
And leadership, wasn't it?
leadership.
Because L stands for leadership.
Yes.
And so you'd meet all throughout the year, and you did it your senior year.
I did.
And so tell us a little bit about some activities you did your senior year.
So we did one time we did a special IPS breakfast.
Okay, you facilitate that. But during the year, you would learn and you'd have guest presenters about different things of leadership, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Like, who was one of your guest presenters? Do you remember?
Yeah, we had a guest presenter.
Didn't you have the superintendent?
Yes. Dr. Lewis.
Yep.
He came into student council.
Oh, he came into student council and then learned about the LPS. I knew he
Yeah.
learned about the LPS. Okay. So here,
IPS.
I'm sorry? IPS, all right. But it's individual, there's leadership in there somewhere. I know there's
Yes.
leadership in there somewhere. All right.
Interpersonal skills.
Interpersonal skills. Right. Okay. So here's the fall of 2018, right?
Yeah.
And Nolan is out there with his mom and his brother, and they're about to announce the royalty. And why not Homecoming King and Queen, Nolan?
Because they were trying to take it to a regardless of gender quality.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So here we go. So Tiffany's already been announced, and we'll skip to about here. Okay. Here we go. So there's Tiffany. Have you known Tiffany since like kindergarten?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Her last name is Smith as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there she is. So she was announced. And here we go for the
And Nolan.
You're a little surprised, weren't you?
Yeah.
And that's where the students are during the game, right?
Yeah.
You guys ready, son? Yeah, you too. Keep it in the family. Keep it with the Smiths. Mm-hmm.
Now that's the part that really gets Dad, because those are your peers. Those are your seniors, juniors, freshmen, sophomores, and they're all chanting your name because they know you, and they know you because of this inclusion. And so that to Dad is really, really important. It's a good example of inclusion working, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so some big deal there. All right, so congratulations on that. And then there's a few pictures. So I want you to tell us about, now, of course, the middle picture, that's Coach Stoll and you, and of course, you that's the whole thing about winning homecoming court. But
My crown, my cape.
your crown, your cape, and some roses, and you're all good over there. What about you being half naked there in a bunch of mud? What's that all about?
Well, it is called mud volleyball. It is a annual tournament for the end of the year that the science teacher puts together.
Miss Hunsinger, but Stuco kind of runs it, right?
Yes.
Now, was that a class of kids with disabilities, or what's this group here?
It is. Everybody can join it.
But how did you get on this team?
I got on this team by a friend of mine.
Yeah.
His name is Jackson Maher.
And Jackson said, hey, come on, join this team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a group of kids just like everyone else, and they joined you, all right? And did you like getting muddy?
Yes.
Oh, you jumped right in. Now, what's this other picture over here? It looks like you're singing. What's that all about?
It is a annual reality show for the choir department. And
What's it called?
it's called Showtime.
It's kind of like Glee, isn't it? Where you guys get to sing different songs. What song did you guys sing?
The One Direction song, What Makes You Beautiful.
What Makes You Beautiful. Yeah, and you sang right there in the middle, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of had your own solo. Except you were surrounded by like 15 other people.
Not my own, because I was with Hunter.
Yeah, well, okay. You had a duet then. All right, so, well, this is a little bit about Nolan and a little bit about how inclusion can work. And of course, this is part 2, but part 2 to me was critical in that he became part of that journalism class, not through writing, not through photography, but hey, why not do video? And why not do a different types of interviews? Why not do a different types of stories about people there in the Lawrence community, particularly in the Lawrence High School community? So anything you want to say last to people as we're saying goodbye to them?
Thank you, and it's nice to meet you guys.
All right, so thanks, folks.